Hey YouTube, we're back. I just did a simple masking job on the structure. I just used some file folder and some blue painter's tape and some scissors, and this is basically what we got. Just something really simple to protect the interior paint job. We're going to start the chipping process. Excuse me. I'm going to be using, this is AK Interactive's heavy chipping fluid. I'm buying a couple other brands. I'm going to get Vallejo's and also I believe MIG's new company Ammo. It's probably just the same stuff, but I'm just going to try them out, and maybe I'll do a comparison video on that in the near future. What they say with this is just take your paint job like you have right there. They don't necessarily have to protect it, but I did, as you saw in the previous part, protected it with a couple layers of satin varnish. Just a basic Liquitex I ran through the Patriot 105. Off camera right now, I'm just filling up the Patriot 105 with the chipping fluid and leaving the bottle open way off to the side because I don't waste this stuff. It's not that cheap. And I'm just going to do a couple quick layers of this on here, and I'm going to run the fan while we're doing this because I don't know what's in this. I don't want to breathe it. I need to fix a masking somewhere. Okay, we'll get this on first. We'll do one more little layer on there. I'm going to be back in a second. Let me fix that masking area real quick and I'll be back. See you in a second. Okay, we are back. I just threw a little piece of paper right there just to protect it while I'm painting it. I'll make sure it's going from different directions. I'm going to do one more little quick coat. Go back on the line here. Good weathering going. You're kind of building up down there a little bit. I think we're good. We'll let that dry and then we'll be back. We're back. Table time. I'm going to run a light hair dryer on it real quick, get some heat on it. And remember, this is going to be well, I'll come back in a second. Okay, we are back. I'm using Minotaur mostly on this project. I'm going to be running Rock. Yeah. Let me show that on the camera. Minotaur Rock. It's a kind of a cold medium gray. So it looks. Yeah, it looks like a little blue to it. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I want something to contrast against the warm tones of the oranges and the reds and the browns we're using. And I'm just going to quick coat on here. And I'm going to hit it with some other paint too. Get some air going on this thing. There we go. Really light coats, so I don't have to struggle taking it off. So just start hiding rust and start to disappear really nicely. Making really fast use of this paint. Simply just the one little few drops is not going to do it. So it's a little more paint going. Here. Nice and covered. When we get the inside a little bit, not a big deal. We're going to be doing a lot of weathering in there. So if I was going to really care, I'd be silly puttying this whole thing. So it'd really hide. And am I having a problem with the paint? I just thinned it out a little bit more with the alcohol water solution. No problem. This happens every so often, no matter how much you airbrush. Some of these paints just dry up on you real quick, and as you see, I'm going kind of far away. There's a lot of airflow through it, so it dries the paint quickly. So it came back, it's still a backflush on it. Okay, I'm gonna go into a lighter color now, just to get some highlights in some of the paneling. Just keep going. Do some concrete slab, probably our second color. Water in there to keep it thin, a couple drops. I'm going off the camera. This is a little mix of water and alcohol I put in there. Back flush it to mix it. There we go. There we go. Let's see while we're on camera here. I'm going to see the middle of the panel. And let's go through the. See, it lightens it up right there. And let's get some highlights going down. Bring it in a zenithal fashion. Beautiful. Look at that little skull right there. Get these guys going. The railing. And keep this at a higher angle so it's actually works as a highlight and get a little more interest to the thing when we start stripping it. And then we'll do really light right there. These railings. Keep on camera. Like it does. So you got a little too much paint going on. Go around a little more highlighting. There. Look at these guys. Right here. And along this thing, let's highlight a little bit. Dusting that blend them in better. I think we're good. I'm going to clean the airbrush out and we'll be back. Okay, we are back. We're going to start stripping some of this paint off of here to make it look like it's chipped. I got some water in this little palette here. This is a water or an eraser pencil. I'm going to use that for little scratches. This is a jeweler's scratch brush. You can find these on eBay, and they're retractable. Give you a little bit of a different feel to them. Standard toothbrush, so with it might work with this okay. One of my favorite tools is a denture brush. This has got really good bristles on it, and you can control. So I can like just. Well, another thing to have is get a good size paintbrush that can hold some water. I'll grab one over here. Oh, here we go. Something like this with a big head on it. So you can take that and dab it on your paint. And you can take this brush. And you get your little scratches in there. You can take anything you wet is going to really come off really easily. So like let's say these guys do that. Come in with your toothbrush. Nice, see? And then you take the toothbrush and dip it in there. See, when you have it nice and wet, you can go in there with this and just basically take the paint off where you want. Gives you a little more control with something like this. Get all that line. See if I can make sure keep this in frame. Sorry about that. Those are these bottom areas. We're going to basically go back in probably with some pigments later on to really bring more depth to it, and it'll give us even more control. But this is just a really fast way to give you a really cool effect. I want to get that little skull wet. And coming with the scratch brush. This is really, it's got fiberglass bristles on it. Really fast works. You gotta be careful. This will take the paint off without anything. That looks really good when you take these corner edges too, where you get like the. These hand railings would have a lot of wear. And don't forget about this area. Lots of rust and scratches because you have foot traffic at one time. Coming with the this bad boy. edges are easy to get to. Find some more water in here. Let's get this going a little more that way. There we go. Let's get some really rust things going over here. This will be good. Just have fun with it. You don't want to lose all the color you put on because you want to let someone look at it. Oh yeah, there's a gray building that the paint's coming off and it's rusting. You want to say it's like a rust-colored building that someone tried to throw whitewash on it, or get this guy nice and grubby down here. There we go. And also you can take and get some of that foamy and you can dry it off a little bit. I'm going to throw a wash in here too to really get those colors out too. Do an oil wash on this eventually. I think that's good. And I'll do one more spot. I just want to get up here a little. Get a little damage. There we go. Give these guys a little more damp weatherness on these. Good. I think we're done there. Just put this. Whoa. That's when the masking fell out already. I'll take that apart. And the masking, I was too careful about it because this was curing overnight. And I'm taking this off camera, sorry about that. And let's get the base again. Over here. Slides in. And that's starting to come together better, isn't it? Let's see here. It gives a little... Yeah, that's starting to look creepy. That's good. And we'll have some foliage around it. And like I said, we'll do some pigments in there too to blend it. But it's starting to look like a damaged old building. That's really cool. But as usual, thank you for joining me. I have another part with the basin. I'll probably put that up real quick. It's just a few earthen colors I did with the airbrush. I went back and forth, and still going to do a lot more on that too. Let me zoom out on that. Sorry about that. There. And there's the earthen base. You'll see that you've probably seen this before you saw this. So there it is again. This is what it's starting to come together. Far cry from this the primer, and it's still a long way to go. But you can see there's it's already some life coming to it. So as usual, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in the next video.